So what the hell just happened 2 days ago? Elizabeth McDonough, the state parliamentarian, oh my God, talk about a made-up word, kicked off the Hush Act and the Short Act from the big beautiful bill, Trump's big beautiful bill in the Senate. It's complicated. It's complicated beyond what most people understand is happening in the government. I had to look it up because I was like, what? How can this one person do this? They can't just go, nope, that's not okay. Fuck off. Elizabeth McDonough is a 2012 appointee, not an actual elected person, to the Senate. And her entire job is to look at stuff on bills and acts and say, yes, this is legal. No, that's not legal. Well, apparently she has enough power that she can say, this doesn't follow within this set of rules, and therefore you have to deal with the other set of rules. The one in place that we're dealing with now is something called the Bird Rule. And the Bird Rule came about 40 years ago, and it was a way to get financial bills through Congress faster. It's a 51 vote versus 60 vote rule. And I don't understand everything behind it historically. All I know is that if you have something in a bill that is to finance the government, you can fast track it through the Bird Rule, and it gives you the ability to get it through faster with less votes. You don't need the 60 votes. Now, if you have something that is a regulatory reform, it can't be in that spending bill. And if it is, it's a violation of the Bird Rule and yada, 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 right? So her ruling was that the Short Act and the Hush Act were both regulatory reform, and because of that, they were removed. Well, they haven't been removed. There's a couple of other venues that they can go through for that. But the long and the short of it is that the chances that those stay in the bill at this point, the way that they are, is almost none. It's zero. So they're either going to have to remove it or they're going to have to revise them, which means they can deal with the $200 part, but they can't deal with the actual bullshit behind the scene. Nobody really cares about the $200 part. Nobody that I know, and I've sold thousands and thousands of suppressors and own a few myself. So it's a problem. It's a violation of the Constitution. You can't tax an individual right. There's all kinds of cases that show that this is an individually protected right, and this falls under the protections of the Second Amendment. I'm not going to go into that. Holy Christ, that's another 15 minutes of discussion. But long and short of it is this ruling has put a huge stomp on potentially getting reform done on the National Firearms Act through this bill. It's good and bad. I personally would like to see the Hush Act and the Short Act put into a single bill and then push through individually. I don't know if they have the votes to do it. That's the problem. So there's a lot of rhinos out there in this world, and they're a fucking problem. There's a lot of people that don't understand firearms, and they're actually telling you what you can and can't do. That's a problem. I'm telling you right now, if there are 3 people in our Congress that can tell me the difference between a firearm, an AOW, a short-barreled rifle, and a normal rifle, and a pistol, those 5 that can tell me the differences, I would shit my pants, because there isn't. And I'm including the SEALs, because I know the SEALs don't know their shit. Because they go, here you go, here's your gun, and they go do their shit, and then they return it back. They don't care about civilian laws. So at the end of the day, this is a big problem. It's a big shitty problem. Everybody was excited potentially to have the Short Act and the Hush Act get pushed through, and we can reform something that was written in 1933, 1934 over some bullshit that happened in Chicago during the era where alcohol was illegal in this country, prohibition, which we all know that prohibition doesn't fucking work very well. So that's what's going on. I doubt we'll see either of those in the big beautiful bill. I think they'll just pull them. They'll just pull them and let it go through. If anything, it'll go through after being revised. And at most we'll see is the $200 tax go away. Yes, so it is a tax, okay? Anybody that says it's not a tax is fucking high as shit. So here it is right there. Look at that. Okay? That's mine. Application for tax. It's tax. $200 tax stamp. We fought a war with the British to get rid of tax stamps. We have tax stamps. Pisses me off to this day. So if you want to know more about this and here's somebody who actually knows all of the right terminology and how the system works, go watch the Colin Noir video. It's about 5 minutes. He explains what's going on. It's really good. But at the end of the day, don't hold your breath for this shit. By the way, the Senate parliamentarian is an appointed position. It's from 2012, which means she's an Obama appointee. And I don't understand how she's there. And she has this much power. She's not an elected official. Okay, you're fired. Get someone else. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand how this one person has this much power and they're not an elected official. You guys are worried about Trump? Holy shit. Let's talk about what's going on with this. This is insanity. So I didn't even know what a Senate parliamentarian was until all of this happened. Now I'm kind of concerned. How many of these motherfuckers are there in our government where they're sitting in a position of power, they're not an elected official, and they have autonomous control on how long they're actually in that position? That's scary, man. You've taken your constitutional republic and turned it into a totalitarianship. I mean, what? We have a king, but we're covering up with all this other shit. So you guys are concerned about kings because of Trump? Start looking at shit like this.